All of Us Are Dead is not just a zombie thriller, it's a brutal look at friendship, fear, and the fragile line between humanity and monsters. Episode 1. It begins on a rooftop, where a bullied student, Jin-soo, faces another brutal beating at the hands of classmates. But this time, something is different. Instead of collapsing, he lashes out with unnatural strength, his body convulsing in a zombie-like transformation. This shocking turn leads us to his father, Mr. Lee, a science teacher at Hyosan High. Desperate to protect his son from relentless bullying, he had secretly been experimenting with a virus, hoping to make Jin-soo stronger. Instead, his attempt at science turns into a horrifying mutation that sets the stage for disaster. In the school's lab, another accident unfolds. A curious student comes too close to a test hamster carrying the infection and is bitten. This moment marks the true patient zero within the school. Terrified and in pain, the student's infection spreads quickly, moving to the nurse's office where chaos erupts as the nurse herself is attacked. The virus now has a direct path into the school population, and what was once just an isolated experiment is about to become an uncontrollable outbreak. Amid this, viewers are introduced to the central group of students whose lives will define the story. Onjo, the resourceful daughter of a firefighter; Cheong-san, her loyal childhood friend; Soo-hyuk, the athletic and brave classmate; Nam-ra, the reserved class president; Gwi-nam, the ruthless bully; Na-yun, the judgmental student; and Isak, Onjo's kind-hearted best friend. Each personality hints at the roles they will play when survival becomes the only priority. The episode ends on a chilling cliffhanger. The infection spreads through classrooms, screams echo in hallways, and Hyosan High begins its terrifying descent into chaos. The nightmare has only just begun. Episode 2. Chaos at Hyosan High. Episode 2 of All of Us Are Dead explodes with panic as the outbreak rips through Hyosan High. What begins as confusion in the cafeteria quickly turns into full-blown horror. Students scream, chairs crash, and chaos swallows every classroom as the infection spreads faster than anyone can process. With friends turning into monsters within minutes, the once ordinary school becomes a battlefield. In the middle of the mayhem, the main group, Onjo, Cheong-san, Soo-hyuk, Isak, and a few others manage to carve out a temporary pocket of safety. They bar doors, drag desks to block windows, and cling to any chance of survival. Fear and disbelief weigh heavy, but their determination to stick together keeps them moving forward. Meanwhile, outside the classrooms, Mr. Lee, the science teacher responsible for the virus, finds himself in police custody. Through flashbacks, viewers see the truth of his desperate experiments. A father driven by grief and anger who wanted to give his son the strength to fight back against bullies. Instead, he created a monster, unleashing something far worse than he ever imagined. The virus does not remain contained. Patient Zero is transferred to the city hospital, and before long, Hyosan's tragedy begins spilling out into the wider community. Alarms rise, but it's already too late. The infection has left the school's walls. Back inside, the group faces a devastating moment when Isak reveals she has been bitten. In a heartbreaking scene, she says her goodbyes, and in an attempt to protect her friends, she tragically falls to her death. The group has no time to grieve, as survival demands constant movement. Using a fire hose, they attempt a daring escape from a classroom window. The episode closes on a brutal cliffhanger. Cheong-san is attacked mid-descent, leaving viewers holding their breath for what comes next. Episode 3. Betrayals and Survival. Episode 3 of All of Us Are Dead shifts the chaos from pure survival to the darker side of human nature. The virus has already spread far beyond the school, with reports of Hyosan facing a full-blown epidemic. Outside the gates, panic consumes the city, while inside, the students face their own fractures and betrayals. A haunting subplot emerges with a pregnant student who goes into labor amidst the outbreak. In a devastating sequence, she delivers her baby but realizes she is turning. Showing a final act of love, she abandons the child in safety before restraining herself, refusing to harm her newborn even as she succumbs to the infection. Meanwhile, the main group, Onjo, Cheong-san, Soo-hyuk, Nam-ra, and others, finds temporary refuge with Miss Park, a teacher who becomes a source of stability. Tensions rise, however, when Na-yeon, already arrogant and judgmental, targets Gyeong-soo, accusing him of being infected without evidence. Her prejudice and cruelty spiral into betrayal as she secretly contaminates his wound. Gyeong-soo soon turns, leading to his tragic transformation. The group is devastated, and the emotional divide is palpable. Trust begins to fracture, and Na-yeon's selfishness threatens their unity. Parallel to this, the series shows the National Assembly, where politicians debate their response to the outbreak. Instead of prioritizing citizens, They focus on their own survival, a sharp contrast to the sacrifices being made inside Hyosan High. The episode builds to an emotional crescendo. Yeon's guilt is exposed, forcing the survivors to confront the brutal reality that betrayal can be deadlier than the infection. In the midst of this turmoil, Miss Park makes the ultimate sacrifice to protect her students, cementing her role as a tragic hero. The cliffhanger leaves the group broken, grieving, and uncertain who they can trust as the outbreak only grows worse. Episode 4. New Players and Brutal Choices. Episode 4 of All of Us Are Dead expands the scope of the chaos, while highlighting the brutal realities of survival. Outside the school, a live streamer enters the infected city, hoping for thrills and views. His recklessness quickly turns fatal as he faces the overwhelming force of the undead, showing that curiosity and bravado are deadly in Hyosan. Meanwhile, San's mother braves the streets, desperate to find her son. Her journey ends in tragedy when she is bitten, a stark reminder that even parental love cannot shield one from the virus. Back inside, the survivors struggle with practical survival issues: scarce food, limited water, improvised bathrooms, and sheer exhaustion. The tension is further compounded by flashbacks revealing Nam's past cruelty, emphasizing that some of the deadliest threats are human, not just infected. Detective G confronts Mr. Lee, seeking answers about the outbreak. Lee reveals the virus's origins, a misguided experiment designed to empower the weak to fight back against bullying. His intentions, while rooted in care, produced catastrophic consequences. Acknowledging there is no cure, Lee chooses to let himself be bitten, accepting his fate to prevent further harm. Within the school, the students debate whether to stay hidden or attempt a dangerous escape. Fear, strategy, and morality collide, as each decision carries life or death stakes. Amid the chaos, Min Eun-ji seeks revenge against those who humiliated her with a leaked video. Her survival despite a bite hints at a possible immunity, adding tension and hope to the story. The episode ends in a brutal cliffhanger. Nam confronts Cheong-san in the school library, stabbing him as pandemonium unfolds around them. The mix of personal vendettas and unrelenting zombie attacks sets the stage for a tense, high-stakes continuation, leaving viewers gripping the edge of their seats. Episode 5. Refugees and Rising Stakes. Episode 5 of All of Us Are Dead raises the stakes both inside and outside Hyosan. Refugees fleeing the city find themselves blocked at every turn, with angry crowds and protesters refusing entry. The growing tension outside mirrors the escalating chaos within the school, highlighting how the outbreak has shattered social order and trust. Inside the library, Cheong-san finally confronts Nam in a brutal showdown. The fight is intense and personal, fueled by past bullying and pent-up anger. In the end, Cheong-san gains the upper hand, throwing Nam into a horde of zombies. Yet, the victory is bittersweet, as the chaos surrounding them is far from over. Meanwhile, the bathroom group of students, realizing the need for better resources, moves to the archery training center. There, they collect weapons and strategize for survival, showing their growing adaptability and teamwork. Onjo and Junyoung deploy a drone to locate Cheong-san, offering a glimmer of hope amid the relentless tension. Simultaneously, paramedics stumble upon the abandoned baby left by the pregnant student in the earlier episodes. This small act of innocence amid devastation underscores the stakes of the human cost. As the students assess the wider situation, the realization hits. The entire city has fallen to the outbreak, streets are crawling with infected, and no safe zones remain. Amid this despair, shocking news emerges. Nam and Min Eun-ji survive their previous bites, revealing a mutation in the virus. They are immune, effectively half-zombies, and pose a new, unpredictable threat to the survivors. The episode closes on a chilling cliffhanger. Nam, now empowered by his immunity and driven by vengeance, vows to find and destroy Cheong-san. The combination of mutated survivors, an entire city overrun, and personal vendettas ensures that the tension and danger are far from over, setting up an intense continuation of the story. Episode 6. The class president begins to emerge as a natural leader. Her strategic thinking and decisive actions keep the group coordinated and focused, preventing panic from spiraling out of control. Meanwhile, Cheong-san uncovers Na-yeon secretly hoarding supplies, revealing yet another layer of selfishness and mistrust within the survivor group. The tension among the students grows, as personal conflicts threaten their fragile unity in the face of relentless danger. Min-Eun-ji's immunity becomes undeniable as she survives further attacks, confirming the mutation hinted at in earlier episodes. Her newfound status as a half-zombie adds both hope and fear. She is powerful enough to fend off attacks, yet unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Outside the school, the military response intensifies. Authorities quarantine the city, assessing drastic measures including the possibility of bombing Hyosan to contain the outbreak. With no immediate hope of rescue, the students face the grim reality that they are largely on their own, forced to make life or death decisions with limited resources. The episode builds toward a tense cliffhanger as Nam, the mutated and vengeful former bully, closes in on Hyosan. His relentless pursuit underscores the dangers of the half-zombies, combining personal vendetta with physical threat. With the military's drastic measures looming, the unpredictable actions of mutated survivors, and the internal pressures among the students, Episode 6 solidifies the sense of escalating danger, leaving viewers anxious for the next chapter in the Hyosan High nightmare. Episode 7. On. Joe's firefighter father undertakes a daring mission, infiltrating the city to reach his daughter. His bravery underscores the human side of the apocalypse, showing that parental love and determination persist even amid overwhelming danger. Meanwhile, the military faces a grim ethical dilemma as they debate whether to bomb infected areas. Their decisions are complicated by the presence of uninfected survivors, highlighting the moral grayness of crisis management during a catastrophic outbreak. The tension rises as the group suffers more losses. One student makes the ultimate sacrifice, giving their life to save their friends. This act of selflessness reinforces the bonds among the survivors, reminding viewers that heroism and courage exist even in dire circumstances. Nam continues his relentless pursuit of Hyosan, terrorizing the group with his newfound immunity. His presence injects personal stakes into the chaos, blending physical threat with emotional tension rooted in past bullying and vengeance. Amid the turmoil, Onjo and Soo Hyok's connection strengthens, providing a glimmer of hope and humanity in an otherwise bleak environment. Their bond offers emotional relief and shows how relationships evolve under extreme stress. The episode ends on a gripping cliffhanger as Hyosan and Nam's confrontation escalates. With the stakes higher than ever, viewers are left on edge. Episode 8. Hyosan and Nam's conflict reaches new heights with an intense rooftop battle. Their confrontation is a deadly mix of personal vengeance and survival instinct, reflecting how past grudges can turn deadly in a crisis. The rooftop fight is not only physically perilous, but emotionally charged, emphasizing the stakes of their rivalry and the consequences of the virus's mutation. Meanwhile, Namra begins showing symptoms of hybridization, revealing that even the most resilient students are not entirely safe. This transformation adds a new layer of fear, forcing the survivors to consider the unpredictable nature of infection and mutation. Amid the chaos, Joe's father arrives at the school, heroically saving several students. His intervention is a brief reprieve, demonstrating the lengths loved ones will go to protect each other, even when faced with overwhelming danger. Simultaneously, the survivors witness the full scale of the outbreak outside. The city has descended into total chaos, with streets overrun by the infected. The magnitude of the disaster underscores the hopelessness of their situation and the sheer unpredictability of the virus's spread. The episode closes with a chilling cliffhanger. Despite Hyosan's efforts, Nam survives yet again, and Hyosan is left gravely injured. This unresolved confrontation maintains the tension and stakes. Episode 9. As they make their way through the gym, zombies swarm, forcing the students into a life-or-death struggle. In a heart-wrenching moment, Joe's father sacrifices himself to protect the students. Amid the chaos, Namra begins to reveal superhuman abilities, including heightened senses that give her an edge over the infected. While her skills are potentially life-saving, they also create tension within the group. Some students grow wary of her, unsure if her powers make her an ally they can fully trust, adding internal conflict to an already perilous situation. As the group navigates through the gym, the crisis intensifies with a sudden fire outbreak in the school. Flames and smoke spread rapidly, creating a new threat that forces the survivors to make split-second decisions. The combination of fire and the encroaching undead ratchets up the suspense, leaving viewers on edge. Episode 10. The Bombing Order. Episode 10 of All of Us Are Dead pushes the tension to the brink as the government issues a catastrophic bombing order for Hyosan, signaling the city's complete abandonment. With the threat of annihilation looming, the students scramble to escape the city limits before the airstrike begins. Every decision becomes critical as the clock ticks, forcing the group to navigate dangerous streets filled with both zombies and panicked survivors. Amid the chaos, emotions run high. Onjo, Soo-hyuk, and Namra share heartfelt confessions, exposing fears, regrets, and unspoken feelings. These moments humanize the apocalypse, showing that even in the face of certain death, connections and personal bonds remain vital. The weight of survival is made heavier by Nam, Ra's struggle with hunger. Her desperation almost leads her to attack her friends, highlighting the thin line between humanity and instinct when resources are scarce. The episode's pacing combines fast-moving escapes with intimate, emotional beats, balancing suspense and character development. Every corner of the city feels unsafe, and the students' trust in one another is continuously tested. The cliffhanger raises the stakes to their maximum. Military jets appear overhead, signaling the imminent bombing. With the fate of Hyosan hanging in the balance, viewers are left on edge, questioning which characters will survive. Episode 11, Goodbye, Hyosan. Episode 11 serves as a dramatic and emotional conclusion to Season 1. Cheong-san makes the ultimate sacrifice, holding back GWI Nam and hordes of zombies to give his friends a chance to escape. His heroism cements his role as the group's protector and underscores the series' recurring theme of personal sacrifice amid chaos. The survivors narrowly flee the city as the bombing levels Hyosan, leaving behind a scene of devastation. Emotional losses are brought into sharp focus. Cheong-san, on Joe's father, and Isak's deaths weigh heavily on the remaining students, emphasizing the human cost of survival. As they process their trauma, the group reflects on friendship, loyalty, and the harsh realities of the apocalypse. Eventually rescued and quarantined, the students are given a brief reprieve, but the world watches the tragedy of Hyosan unfold, highlighting society's role in containment, communication, and ethical responsibility during crises. The epilogue provides a chilling twist. Nam-Ra, missing during the evacuation, is later revealed alive as a hybrid, taking on the responsibility of protecting other abandoned children. Her transformation hints at evolving threats and survival dynamics for the next season. Season 1